And the mayor of the city of Oakland joins us here on the show. Mayor joining us here on the program, Sheng Thao here on the show. Mayor Thao was elected in 2022, was a member of the Oakland City Council for a number of years, became president of the Oakland City Council, and then became elected with the mayoral position here in the city of Oakland. And Mayor, thanks so much for coming on down. I know it means a lot for people here just to try to understand, the inner workings of what's going on.
Absolutely. It's my honor to be here. When we talk about fighting for our home team, I couldn't have done it without these amazing fans. And that's the truth of it all, is that, what we showed the world, and I really do mean that when I say what we showed the world, is that when you work with a strong fan base who's committed, and when you work with leadership who's also committed to say, you know what, enough's enough, what's fair is fair, and what's not is not. This is the beautiful thing that you get, is that you get not only bringing people together, but also understanding, and for the rest of the world to know that status quo is not going to fly anymore. Yeah.
My very first question to you: how many times, Madam Mayor, have you been in the same room with John Fisher, physically shared the same space?
Once.
Mm-hmm. If that doesn't represent bad faith negotiation, what more could?
You're absolutely right. At the end of the day, it was just once in a room together physically, and then both of our teams were working towards a deal, and to just head in a strong direction. You can't help but feel, and this is the actual facts, it's like every time we reach the goal of what they want us to reach, they move that goalpost again. Consistently. And this is not once, it's not twice, it's not 3 times, it's over and over and over. And so at the end of the day, it's really, we're tired of playing the game,
Well, I could not help but notice that the closer that Howard Terminal came to becoming a reality, the faster the Vegas initiative took place.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because right when they realized, I think that they thought that this mayor was going to come in, that I was going to come in and...
By the way, can I also say this too, Madam Mayor? You inherited a huge pile of shit.
I sure
You did. You inherited a massive, from Libby Schaff before you, Mayor Kwan before even Libby. I mean, I remember Mayor Kwan coming on my radio show at the time saying that the Sultan of Brunei would help the A's stay in Oakland. And that is how much misinformation that the team was feeding its home city.
Yeah.
The team actively fed wrong information to its home city looking for solutions. As Oakland was looking for solutions, the A's were looking elsewhere.
At the end of the day, when I walked into all of this, I was hoping to bring new energy to the conversation. But it was, and I asked John Fisher in that one meeting that we had face to face, and I said, look, if there's no pathway here, and this is, then let's say that, because we don't have a lot of staff time, and staff time is money.
Right.
It's expensive.
Right.
And we're not billionaires.
Does Oakland have any other problems other than a Major League Baseball team?
Exactly, right? And so at the end of the day, he said, no, I really do want to stay here in Oakland. And that's the only reason why we invested so much time into it. And to just then be told, or I think I read in the papers, from the commissioner saying, really like the mayor, but the ship sailed before she even got into office. And so it's the playing of games and the misuse of public resources, whether it's lying to us, saying that they're really rooted in Oakland, want to try to make it work, or just a waste of resources of everyone else's time in Vegas.
Man hours.
Yeah. And then the fans, an emotional roller coaster. It's emotional abuse.
Tell us what you think John Fisher's end game is. Why do you think he didn't negotiate in good faith when you guys were pretty close to finding a deal?
I think at the end of the day, I don't know what his real rationale or reason is, but of course, when you because a lot of the things that they do don't make a lot of sense. But if you pick up a team and you move it to Las Vegas, obviously you can sell the team for a lot more, right? That could be it.
But if they got a new ballpark here, they could sell the team for a lot more as well. So that part doesn't quite equate.
No, that's exactly right. So it doesn't even add up. And I'm just not sure what the end goal is here.
You know what I think is happening here? Gap stock is down across the board. He's looking to increase the value of a team with a relocation, and then he's going to sell. The amount of billionaire that he could become right now by selling right now to a group that would keep the team in Oakland doesn't sound nearly as impressive to him as the amount of billionaire he could be further down the road.
You know, at the end of the day, I think that it'll be great for everyone if he just sold the team.
Yes.
To somebody who actually loves baseball, because when you love baseball, you understand what it means to the fans. You know what I mean? Even if you don't even have that lived life experience of being a part of a working family, you know, you can understand that fans are attached to the team as if it's their family member.
Absolutely.
These are historical, you know, memories that they've had with their generational, right? And they want the same memories. They want to create the same memories with their kids, right? And so I just hope that at the end of all of this, that there's some resolution in regards to making sure that owners of these teams, that they really do care about the sport that they're trying to be a part of.
Honestly, how close to Howard Terminal being greenlit, shovels going in the ground, did you get on your end?
Oh my gosh, we were so close. I mean, I'm talking about like signatures. Like, we agreed to this and we can move forward on like the smaller details, right? And it was that night. And I think that I was told that night by my negotiators, I was at an event and they said, hey, our last conversation went really well, so I think it's tomorrow. Got in my car, 6 p.m., and I got a phone call from Dave Kaval saying like, hey, we're going to actually turn our full attention to Las Vegas. Sorry. And I'm like, you know, like.
So I feel like we're friends now.
Yes, we are.
To be a politician, you have to deal with a certain amount of bullshit, which I'm guessing gives you an incredible bullshit detector. How much did your bullshit detector blink red whenever you talk to Dave Kaval? That's a you just answered the question.
Good answer.
You just answered the question. Thank you.
Your background is also of somebody that understands Oakland. You were living out of your car at one point in time as a single mother of Oakland, of the soul of Oakland, which has helped you understand your constituency, your voters. So when you speak to them and you see this group of people that have A's shirts on, and you know how close it could have been, how heartbreaking is that?
You know, it's completely heartbreaking because, again, it's like I look at all these great people and I say, like, this is my family. Like, I see myself in them. And I just wish that, you know, John Fisher and Dave Kaval can feel the same way about these amazing fans. I mean, the Bay Area, especially Oakland fans, they're the best fans in the whole world. And I'm not just saying it because I'm the Oakland mayor, but like I go to so many different games all across the country or what have you. And Oakland fan base is like no other. The loyalty is so deep. It runs in people's DNA. And, you know, even if they have to spend that check to buy 2 jerseys, they will, because like that's the meaningfulness of it, right? It's just not about the money. It's about, you know, the quality of life, and the A's reputation is part of their quality of life. And so, you know, to have that be stripped away without having a voice, like, it's frustrating and it's fucked up.
What happens next for you?
No, yes.
What happens next? Because these people don't just fade into oblivion. They still live in Oakland, and they don't have a baseball team. They don't have a football team, and their basketball team went across to San Francisco. So what do you tell them? You know,
what we did with the Ballers, I'm wearing a Baller shirt. Baller is our minor league team that we actually just established. That, you know, when I had to,
the park looks beautiful, by the way.
You.
Yeah,
you
nice job.
Come out. So, and this is an example of what folks are saying around. Like, oh, well, the city of Oakland is not, you can't get anything done. And this is me showing them bullshit, right? Because what happened was this was a conversation in response to Dave Kaval and John Fisher moving our team to Las Vegas. And so I met with these 2 community members who were like, we can't let this happen. Let's create our own team. We worked together for, you know, about 6 months. And then within 6 months of breaking ground, we have a whole new stadium in Raimondi Park. Raimondi Park used to be like a huge encampment prior to my mayoral me taking on the mayoral seat. And so when I came in, I tore it down and gave everybody housing, you know, that wanted it. And so from that point, it's now Raimondi Park is now the home of the Ballers, you know, and it's amazing. And so for anybody, any naysayers that says that we can't get anything done in Oakland, no, that only means that you're not a true partner, because when you come to the table and you're a true partner with the city, we can definitely get things done.
And it felt like there was never a moment of true partnership between A's ownership and the city of Oakland. It felt like empty promises, empty words, not on your part, on their part. And I'm sure nothing is perfect on any angle of this, right? But The man with the most amount of money sitting at the table usually controls the conversation at the table. And it just felt like seating control is all the Fishers have ever done. Speaking of Major League control, can you tell us about your impressions of Rob Manfred as commissioner of Major League Baseball? Has he done anything to help you make a case to keep this team here, or has he been working against you in real time at all times?
You know, with the commissioner, I want to say that, of course, he has his bosses, right? His bosses are the owners of the teams. But what I can say is that when I flew up to Seattle and I requested for a meeting, that he did give me a meeting, and he didn't have to. That's
so you've been in the room with him once too.
Correct, with him once. And then not just that, but he could have just said, okay, great, give me all of your plans or what have you. But he actually took the time and sat down and went with myself and my staff. I brought my staff with me to go, like, you know, to answer any of the questions that he had or his legal person had. And so, you know, I just want to appreciate that at least he gave us a time of day to understand a different version of the story that he was being told, you know, because I believe he didn't say this, but I do believe that John Fisher and Dave Kaval was giving him a different story than what was actually happening.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And so I thought that was
funny. Numbers are at the root of the Oakland A's.
How funny, the details. And so what I can say is that I really appreciate Commissioner Rob Manfred for giving us the time and for really sitting down listening, because he had some really great questions that we were able to answer. At the end of the day, he has his own bosses, and those are the, you know, the team owners. And so, you know, I really do think that this is a Dave Kaval, John Fisher issue.
What's the biggest misconception about the city of Oakland?
I think the biggest misconception, I talked about it a little bit, is that somehow we can't get anything done, you know, and somehow we were the problem in this whole deal, in this whole initiative. Mind you, we moved so many different legislation, right? From this is right on the water, so we have to go to BCDC. We got them to clear it and call and allow for the land to be used in a different way outside of just for the port. And then not just that, but we had to pass legislation, right, at the state level, and that was passed. And then they wanted not only just a ballpark, they wanted all the real estate.
Well, that's the thing. So and this is my final question. I'm sure you got a busy day, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
To stay in Oakland, not only did they need the new ballpark, they needed a glass Abu Dhabi around the ballpark. But to go to Las Vegas, all they need is a ballpark.
Yeah, and that's
I cannot help but smell the bullshit coming off of that.
Oh, absolutely, you know, and that's what pisses me off. It's like, if you just wanted a ballpark, that could have been done shovels in the ground, right? But
at Howard Terminal or at the site of the Coliseum?
Whichever site you pick. Howard Terminal is ready to go. Coliseums have been always ready to go. That would have been the quickest way to get a new stadium.
Fix.
CEQA cleared and everything already. But they insisted on Howard Terminal and being closer to downtown. It's like, okay, that's fine. And so shovels would have already been in the ground, but they wanted this full real estate complex, you know. And
most expensive construction project in the history of the state of California.
Yes, absolutely. But you know what?
They can't afford a first baseman, but they want the largest construction project in the history of the state of California.
This is all very enlightening for people that are outside of Oakland, because right now we are broadcasting to everybody, and I think there's people that are unaware of these types of inner workings.
Well, you know, what I can tell you is that, you know, we have the U.S. Conference of Mayors where all the mayors converge twice a year, and I cannot tell you how many mayors have come up to me, bipartisan, Republican, Democrats, you know, whatever, have come up to me and said, hey, can you give me some thoughts about, you know, what you're going through? Because, like, we've been watching, you know, you do this work, and our team is trying to do the same thing too, where they're forcing the city to pay for a new stadium, or the threat, and it is a threat, the threat is we'll leave.
Socialize the construction, privatize the profit.
That's right. There you go. You know, we know that in sports like soccer or / football, right, in other countries, that this is exactly how it's run. So that there's investments directly from the community, that the community co-owns it, so they can't just up and leave. And so, again, you know, it's more than just baseball. It's more than just making people money. This is about culture. This is about family. family, and so we got to really change the narrative on this. And I'm just really happy that you two are here speaking up and continuing to speak up in regards to what more we can do as the fan base, right? Because again, we are stronger together, and so long as we stick together and we move forward in a certain fashion, I can see so many other fans from different states really coming to support and also be a part of this.
Have you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Have you called the mayor of Sacramento and just been like, what the fuck?
Mayor Steinberg and I, we are friends, and so at the end of the day, they needed a stadium, and I'm not one to say, if they were not going to, I was not going to accept them to extend their lease without these provisions.
By the way, I'm glad you played hardball on that. I really am.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but at the end of the day, you're not going to abuse us. My background, I'm a domestic violence survivor, and so when I start feeling like those kind of like emotional abuse,
there's a lot there, isn't there? Isn't there some correlation there?
Yes, there is.
I feel funny when I bring it up because I don't want to mess around with the concept of domestic violence and compare it to sports, but there is an abuser, an abused, and a inability to leave an abuser situation that has happened here.
And that's exactly right. And as a survivor, it really hit home in regards to those different aspects. And so, but they needed a home, and they were going to go somewhere anyway. And so, I'm glad that they're still in California to play for the year, or whatever
bullshit they're coming up with this week.
But remember, I have warned the legislators in Las Vegas, watch out for John Fisher and Dave Kaval. They don't actually back up their word, and they didn't listen. Right, the majority of them didn't listen. They went moving forward, and guess what? Now, what are we seeing?
Have you seen just this week?
Yes, exactly.
Just this week.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's one of those things where it's like, I told you so. It's like, this is exactly how they operate. It's like, look over here. Oh, and by the way, we're going to do this. Like, and it's like, wait, that was not part of the deal. And that was always the case. This is a great example of what moving the flagpole looks like for Dave Kaval and John Fisher.
Can A's fans hold out hope for an expansion team one day?
I would say 100%, either an expansion team or the team being sold, whether to Vivek or Joe Lakeup or whoever, and then come back to the Coliseum.
Or Howard Terminal, if you guys could put shovel in the ground tomorrow.
Yeah, or Howard Terminal, but there is I'll be really frank, there is a window in regards to Howard Terminal. And so with that being said, I really do hope that there is a push and a pressure to have the team be sold, and that it could be bought by a person who cares about baseball, and that we can work with them to get them back to Oakland, to either the Coliseum or the Howard Terminal.
Joe Lakeup would be a good buyer, huh?
He would be a terrific buyer.
It's amazing what billionaires with juice and influence can do. Self-made men, not inherited it, right? You feel there's a little concept going on there too?
I'm just going to sit here.
You're just gonna.
Mayor Sheng Thao.
Silence is deafening, Madam Mayor.
Nice enough to join us down here. Well, this was really special for us to meet you personally. As you can see, this is just a wonderful group of people. This place, Line 51, has opened up its doors. All these people have welcomed us. I flew in from New York yesterday, and the moment that my feet touched the ground, it was, thanks so much for being here. These people are amazing. Last dive bar, the Oakland 68s. Everybody is just top-notch people. So you've got great people to potentially support and have them support you. So I appreciate you coming down to support them as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Again, thank you for doing this work, covering this fiasco, because I think that there's a lesson here to be had in regards to how people treat the team as just a commodity and part of their portfolio, that it's more than that. So
you got my vote, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is great. Mayor Sheng Thao joining us here for the city of Oakland.
Let's do a quick picture.
That was really fantastic. Thank you again for joining us. Let's hear it for the mayor, everybody.
Mayor of Oakland.
That was really, really incredible stuff. Really incredible stuff.